When I was 14, I witnessed a murder. My brother's screaming, like, the police, let me up, let me up. And my brother thought it was me. So it was me, my mum, and my brother growing up. It's just pure working class.
But what was going on in your world?
My mum, she'd cry her eyes out all night because that's all she could afford. Now I've got a big reason to keep on going because I owe it to her. How it actually panned out was like I was working like 40 hours at McDonald's, and then I was like traveling up to CBBC on a Thursday night, recording the show on a Friday morning, and then that would be it. But who would have thought from where I started I would ever end up in Buckingham Palace? But I'm still working it out. Everybody always looks at you and goes, oh yeah, Ty, you're the confident one. Oh, you was on Strictly, swear down. But I've still got that 14-year-old self that's like absolutely shook. I went through like 2 years of pain, which led into some of the best accomplishments of my life. I've met love in my life. I count my lucky stars. When I was younger, I couldn't open my blind because otherwise I was convinced something bad would happen to me. Couldn't use a knife and fork. For the best part of 2 years, it built up a lot to the point that then it was unavoidable. My mum doesn't even know this. I can't remember how long I was out on this bridge for.
Hey there, before we get started, I just want to say a huge thank you for being here and watching the show. It's really one of the greatest honors of my career to have these conversations. Can I ask a small favor? Hit the subscribe button, please. It's just one click, it's completely free, and it helps us grow the community. The more we grow, the bigger the guests we can bring on, and the deeper the conversations we can have. Thank you, truly, it means a lot. West, we need to talk. There's a million places that we could start with.
Yeah.
But we have to start with the place that is near and dear to my heart. And that is Sutton.
Yes. Sutton. Do you know what? You put it on you've helped put it back on the map. Yeah, because the Sutton that I know wasn't the Sutton that you talk about, you know. It was
really
it's tough. Yeah, but I mean it still is like sort of certain areas, certain parts of Sutton. But yeah, I was born and raised there, man. St. Helier Hospital.
Okay.
My mum worked there from like the longest, like ever since I was born, and she still works there now. And it's so it's a special place. It's a big community.
Yes. So how would you describe the Sutton that you grew up in?
It's one of those places that you don't really have much opportunity around. Like you look at the surroundings and it's like everybody kind of keeps to themselves. It was quite a racist area. It wasn't very diverse at all. There was a lot of trouble, like a lot of antisocial behaviour. And it's one of the biggest, I swear it was like one of the biggest council estates in Europe that I've grown up on, right? Okay. And the people that come with that are people that are just hurt. So when all of a sudden you're on your walk to school and all you see is, you know, families arguing, or like there was a TikTok about it ages ago and it was like, when there's an argument going on in the street and then you're that nosy person to like lean out the window, that's what the whole community is like there would always be something going on and then sirens going past and then you just look out the window and then that's it, you just be the nosy neighbor.
Gotcha.
It's but also in and amongst that it does have hope and it does have some really cool nuggets of people that have then gone on to do amazing things.
Yes. You know, one of the areas that I've been shocked with the guests is that I would say the overwhelming majority of the guests on We Need to Talk grew up in council estates, which I didn't realize because in the States we call them projects.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but it's government housing, you know, in essence. So in the States, though, I feel like our government or our projects, our government housing is more ethnic and race-based. But here it feels like it's a full mix of folks, of people.
Yeah.
So how would you describe like the demographics of your council estate?
It's hard. It's I mean, it's the classism. It's just pure working class. It's just pure people that are just trying to put food on the table. It was never like, oh, we're gonna have a flashy car. I'd never seen any of them rolling around the area unless it was drug dealers, you know. And I think that it's a real weird mix of people, but it's all working class.
Okay.
It's all working class. It's all people in the same sort of struggle and hustle. And you would think that maybe that might be quite an inspiring environment to be around people like-minded that are, you know, really trying to work hard. But it's people that work in back-to-back jobs just to try and put food on the table. And that's also quite, I mean, it's quite damaging from a young age, because then you're looking around and I'm like, well, I don't really see me moving out of the ends. Do you know what I mean? I don't really see me going anywhere else. I don't really see me traveling. I'd never went abroad for the longest. Like I couldn't imagine what it was like to have like Sky TV or be able to watch other channels other than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
And that's the sort of environment that it is. But you make do. I had some of the best memories. We're playing out in the street and we're playing Kirby. We're throwing the ball at the curb and we're putting whilst most people were like playing on their PlayStations and things like that, I would crack a can and put it on the back of my bike.
Yes.
Drive it round the green across the road on the opposite apartments, and we would just like pretend it's a motorbike and just be driving around.
Oh, because of the sound.
I'd be the loud kid on the yeah. When me and my brother would play out, but yeah, it's an experience that comes to stay right there. Yeah.
Yes. So you mentioned your brother there. So who was part of the family unit when you were
Okay, so it was me, my mum, and my brother growing up in South London, in Sutton.
All right.
My brother actually has a cookie shop there. He's still, it literally in Sutton High Street. He has a cookie shop. He made a cookie shop in lockdown. It's a long story. We'll come to it. Like you said, we could chat all day. But yeah, it was me, my mum, my brother, and we was just like, the closest unit, like inseparable.
Okay.
Really special.
So what did you learn about love from your mother and from your brother?
Love from my mother was, I mean, Debs is just, she's the best. She's a 360 kind of love. Like she'll do anything to support you. I've seen her struggle at the best of times. And then my brother gave me love. It was almost like because my dad and my mum broke up when I was younger, when I was 6 months, right? And I thought at the time, like growing up, I never really understood it. And my brother was actually kind of like a father figure to me, because he was just the prominent figure, like older than me. I looked up to him. I was the shyest kid in the whole entire world. Like I would never talk to anybody. And my brother was the loud one. He was the singer. He was the footballer. He was the sportsman. He was the guy that was like, he would like have all the girls chasing him. He would be the popular one. Got involved in like some wrong sort of stuff with gangs and things like that when he was younger, but still he was the person that no matter what happened, he would be there to support, provide and just protect us. And my mum, that came from her, because I've never seen a woman go through so much hurt and pain, and then on the other side of it, still put a smile on her face and pretend everything's okay.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
It was character building.
Yes.
Character building, and it shaped who we are today, without a doubt.
And I would imagine a lot of those smiles that she was putting on her face, it was to protect you.
Yeah.
And protect your brother.
Yeah, because from the moment, like 6 months old, I was a cute baby, Paul, right? I was a cute baby. And then I'm sat there from early days and I'm going, bro, but am I just not enough? Like, I'd be lying if I said anything.
Because of how cute you were.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, Tyler, I have many surprises for you.
Okay.
Can I give you a surprise right now?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about how cute you were.
Yeah.
I want you to see this. You know what this is?
No, what is it? Is it AI? No way. Do you see that?
See, you can't describe, because there will be people.
This is
What are you looking at right there?
This is me. Probably around. I was a chubby baby. This is me. I don't remember that. You sure? Sure you ain't stretched this a little bit or warped this a little bit? No, this is me, my brother Lewis, and my mum Debs, and that's like, even though I look like I'm doing some blue steel pose there as well.
You too.
I was gonna say that's a really special memory right there, man.
Well, do you know what was happening in that moment?
In my mum's world?
Yes.
Yeah, no.
You don't?
No. In my mum's world, well, now I do. Now I'm older, obviously. In my mum's world, there was a lot of pain. There was a lot of struggle. There was times there that she wanted to give up, but she kept on going. Like I've never like that strength and tenacity was just on another level. She like I'll give you some examples, right?
And I'll hold on.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna give this back.
Yeah, please do. There's been some instances throughout my childhood that didn't. When I was younger, I was like, oh, this is normal. But then when I'm older, I've then seen the pain. So we used to do this. We used to do this game where we'd go to the supermarket when it was empty, and my mum would like give us like all these pennies and pounds or any change that she had, and she was like, right, cool, you're gonna run around the aisles and get the cheapest dinner possible. Whoever gets it wins. And me and my brother were doing like supermarket sweep. Like didn't have a lot of money, but we're like comparing things and we're running around and we're having the best amount of time. We'll get back home and then mum would put us to bed, make us beans on toast and put us to bed and then she'd cry her eyes out all night because that's all she could afford. Do you know what I mean? We didn't have anything. I can't even imagine in this day and age of like what my mum must have been going through mentally. And then I also felt like now I've got a big reason to keep on going to do it for her because I owe it to her. I feel like I owe it to her within me to like always provide and protect and in anybody I love, because I've seen my mum do it when she had nothing. So then now that I've got a platform or now that I'm on a roll, I'm like, yeah, let's keep going. Like, don't worry about it. I can reassure you, like, don't worry about it, mum. You've done your part. You couldn't give me. She always says to me all the time, and I say, well, mum, why are you doing that? She always goes, I couldn't give you like the money and the big house, and I'm sorry, like I couldn't take you on all those holidays and things like that. And I was like, but that's all just materialistic. What you did for me is priceless.
Yes.
It's priceless stuff. Like I find it hard not to be like her.
Interesting.
You know?
So I can see how love was in your life early in your life. You had it from grandparents. You had it from your mother. Clearly, you had it from your brother.
Yeah.
But I love to know, what did you learn specifically about love from your brother?
My brother, do you know what? He gave me. He was the one to sort of make the mistakes out of the two of us. He was the reckless one, right? He made the mistakes, and I learned, and I was so grateful for him to do that because then I learned almost like from his mistakes. So he guided me on a different path. He's like, Ty, no, you ain't got to do that. No, Ty, come on, and he would protect me. If I was in trouble in the street, he would turn up. He'd be like, call me, I'm there. Like he was always that supportive. It was sort of like that hard love.
Yes.
Until we broke the light switch in our bedroom, and then he blamed me. And we were grounded for a week. Yeah, that wasn't love there. That was just snaking. Yes. And he was also my voice. This is the thing from young. I mentioned like I was the shyest person ever growing up. I would not talk. My mum actually got called into my primary school. And they were like, oh, is everything all right at home? And she was like, yeah, everything's fine. Why? And it was like, oh, because Tyler hasn't spoken like all week. Like we're really concerned about him. Whereas I was going home from school, I was like, mum would say to me, oh, how was school? And I was like, yeah, sweet. It was fine. But I was so shy. I would shake with fear. And my brother, I would stand behind his leg and he would just say, no, he'd have an ice cream, please. He would be my voice on an everyday basis. Wow. And now the irony is that like, I do what I do for work and it's like, I can't stop talking.
Oh my God. So talking about talking is, how frequent did you and your brother talk about your emotions with each other? Because so I have a brother, a younger brother, and it's one of those where I feel like, okay, we're close, but we don't really talk about our emotions and talk about how we feel towards each other. Is that something that you and your brother did or haven't done?
We never spoke about it much when we were younger, but now, our relationship now, oh yeah, all the time. We have these things, we call it coffee meetings. And depending on what coffee he texts me, it depends. I know his stress level. So if he goes, oh yeah, it's a vanilla latte day, I'm like, okay, it's one of those ones. Let's jump on the phone, let's catch up.
So a vanilla latte day is not a good day?
It's not a good day. I don't know why, because it's a really, it was like the first coffee we had. It's actually my favorite, right? It's not saying it's a bad coffee or anything. He's like, yeah, man, I'm doing well. If he says, oh yeah, I'm doing well, I'm going to have a black coffee today. I'm like, okay, right, he's fine. He's just grafting. He's getting through it. Vanilla latte, yeah, let's catch up really quick.
Really? That means it's something.
Yeah.
But you two are having these conversations. Mm-hmm. Has your brother ever written you a letter?
No.
That's interesting. You know why?
Why?
I got this for you.
What is... If this is a letter from Lewis, he didn't even write me a birthday card last year, yeah? So
oh, really?
What is this?
If you could read that out loud for us.
It says, Ty, my hero. Okay, deep breath before you read this. You know how emotional you get, see? Oh, geez, Paul, man. You know how emotional you get. And I'm already crying right now, so we're both in danger here. Honestly, this whole moment feels wild. Not only am I writing you an actual letter, my first one, I think, but you're reading it in front of Paul, someone we've both admired for so many years. The universe is crazy. Thank you, bro, for creating these moments. Ty, let me start by saying thank you. Thank you for being the person who brightens up every room when you don't feel like your bright self. Thank you for your humor, your kindness, and for cracking us up at all the moments that make no sense. Thank you for being my little brother, big brother. You know, I'm taller than him. But also the person who's taught me more about strength and resilience than any book or quote ever could. Inspire me and so many others every single day in ways you probably don't even realize. I'm so grateful for you, your support, your laughter, your ability to make even the hardest days feel a little lighter, especially on those iced vanilla latte days. Those link ups for me are the truest form of therapy. Ty, most people have no idea how much weight you carry day to day. I just want to remind you to go easy on yourself. You don't have to hold everything together all the time. It's completely okay to pause, breathe, and take a step back. On the days where you question your worth or wonder if you're on the right path, please remember this. You are loved, respected, and admired, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. I love you, bro. Keep dreaming and never stop being you. P.S. Blake says, Wagwan unks. My little nephew, Blake. Oh, man. Jeez, whoa, they just floated from the first line right there.
That was a beautiful, beautiful letter. So that's from Lewis.
That's incredible. You know what? It's growing up. I always said to Lewis in every birthday card that I've ever written, I've always said, "Bro, you're my idol. You're my hero." So then when he put "You're my hero," that's why immediately somebody was chopping onions in here, and obviously a couple of tears came out right there. That is
I'm gonna give that back to you.
That's amazing.
So you start every letter for him. You're my hero.
Yeah, every birthday card, Christmas card, I'm like, "Oh, bro, you're my idol." I always mention it, like, "You're my idol, man. You're my hero," because he also we didn't have the easiest start growing up, and I feel like he was going for it at a different. He was at a different age. He's 5 years older than me. He was at a different age, and he would remember a lot more hurt and a lot more stuff. Whereas I was a lot younger at the time.
Yes.
You know, so I couldn't process it.
Yes. So then by 14, though, your father comes back into your life in a much stronger way.
Yeah,
What was the cause of that?
probably. I tell you what, out of my whole life, that was probably the one day where if I could look up and see my dad, and he showed up, and it was at the Old Bailey, the court in London, because I witnessed a murder, and this was the court case that then went on. This is like, it's so hard every single time I talk about it, because the minute I say the word, it takes me back to that 14-year-old self. And when I was 14, it was the hardest transition period for me to get my head around things, and understand how I was feeling. I literally, to this day, I still have this like, 14-year-old in the back of my head. It's just that 1 year was so traumatic, and it all happened at once. And I've gone, I don't think I can do this, you know? Yeah, he showed up on that day.
He showed up for you.
Mm.
All right. The day that sounds like you needed him the most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's love.
Mm-hmm.
That's love for sure. Just a warning before we get into this next section. We discuss suicide and suicide ideation. Please watch with care. Are you open to talk about what you witnessed at 14?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So if we go back to the start, it's so again, on my council estate, it's kind of like everyone knows everyone. And then there was like some local alcoholics, right? So I finished an after school club, and I'm coming back off, or I get off the bus, and I'm walking up my road, and I'm on the phone to my mum because she don't know how to work the TV. And I'm like, "Mum, listen, I'm going to be back in a second." And it was about, I want to say, like 5 to 8, say for example.
Okay.
And then by the time I've got up to where my house is, there's these guys that live opposite having an argument, just literally out in the middle of the road. It's just me and them. And then I've like ignored it, gone inside, and I said to my mum, I was like, "Oh, those alcoholics are arguing again," because that's what happens on a council estate. It's always so busy. And then I've gone upstairs, dumped my bag in my room, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna see what this argument's about." I've pulled the blinds up, turned the light off, and I'm watching now. It was like a 2-on-1 argument. One of the two men for a really, really weak punch to the man that was on his own. And the man that was on his own, now by this point, my mum's coming up the stairs on the phone to the police. By this point, the man's sort of walking towards my house. So now he's not far. And he's just fallen. He looked like he was on the phone, but he's just fallen on his face. And then I'm like, oh, mum, they're proper fighting. And then all of a sudden, the two men have like walked closer to the man that was laying in the road. And one of the two men had a 12-inch kitchen knife in his hand. And what he had done was cut and slash the man's neck open, and the man was holding it and has then fallen onto the ground in the middle of the road. And then the phone call with my mum went on. It must have been about 7-8 minutes with the police. And in that 7-8 minutes, the man did not stop slashing and stabbing and slashing and stabbing, and it went on and on and on. And I was just frozen. I remember it. Then my mum, naturally, as a nurse, she's like, I've got to help them. And my mum's got some towels and she's gone to run out there. And then I've seen the two men coming out of the apartment, and I've run down and I've dragged my mum inside the house. I said, you can't go out there yet. You can't go out there. They've then gone back inside the house, and then my mum goes out there and I follow her out, and she's got these towels on this man. She's on the phone to the police, and she said that there's too much blood. There's too much, like he was wearing an England shirt, and it was a white England shirt. It's just covered in red. And I just see this man, and it was like, it didn't feel real. It felt like something from a horror movie. And I was just there laying in front of me, and I'm literally as close as we are now. And the police turned up. It was like a big rush. Like the police cordoned off the road, and then they went in and arrested the two men. There was tear gas. There was a lot going on. And then I heard a voice at the other end of the road, and it was my brother. Because by the time my mum got off the phone to the police, she had phoned my brother. She was so hysterical on the phone to my brother. My brother thought it was me. So then my brother's screaming like at the police, let me up, it's my brother. And then he's run up the road and looked at this guy and said, oh, thank God. And then came into the house and said, look, Ty, you're all right. And I was on the sofa having a panic attack. I don't remember from seeing the man laying on the floor to then being on my sofa. It was the hardest moment of my life, without a doubt. Man, it changed my world forever.
At 14, you're thinking about what you're processing.
Mm-hmm.
At 14, you're going through this traumatic experience. As you're watching what's happening, your mother's on the phone. I would imagine that you could not look away.
Mm-mm. No way. And it's because my mum always says it. She goes, oh, Ty, my biggest regret is that I didn't pull you away from that window. I didn't protect you and everything like that. But I was like, that's how I feel about you. You know, not letting you. Why? I know you're a nurse, but I didn't need to let you go out there and be trying to save this man. But that's just who we are. That's just within us.
Yes.
That's who we are. And you know, I had no idea the knock-on effect it would have to this day on my life. You know, from immediately after, I mean, it was really hard. My mum did everything to get us moved from that council estate to just further down the road, and that's what eventually happened. She went to the authorities. She went to, the council and the police and said, look, I need you to help because my son won't come out of his bedroom. For the best part of 2 years, my life was just, I couldn't.
You couldn't. What was going on in your world in the 2 years from that attack?
Certain things and certain habits started to kick in. Like for one, I couldn't open my blind. Every single morning I get out of bed, I had to make my bed because otherwise I was convinced something bad would happen to me. I couldn't use a knife and fork. I couldn't, if anything sort of happened in an action movie and it was like anything to do with a knife, absolutely not. Even to this day, like Molly, my partner Molly, she hides my eyes because she's like, you okay? And she checks in on me and I'm like, it's still so raw. Even like, I've just come to the conclusion that I'll never get that image out of my head. I live with it every single day. I couldn't walk on the same side of the street that it happened. You could see where the blood, like that part of the street was cleaner than the rest of it because where the blood had been cleared up. There was just a lot, and anytime alcohol or drugs were involved in an environment or a setting I was in, I would immediately put my back up. I'm convinced somebody's going to die here. So I'm convinced there's going to be a fight. I'm convinced it was like all of this PTSD that I just couldn't get rid of.
Yes.
And it turned me into the protector, weirdly. It turned me into the person that I'd be the first to step in and separate people because I wouldn't want it to get to that.
To get to what you thought would be the literal demise of someone.
Mm-hmm.
So within the 2 years too, is your mother, I would imagine, she's trying, she doesn't know what to do with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? But she's trying her best. What was the relationship like between your mother and your brother during those 2 years?
The thing is, when something significant like that happens, it's a ripple effect, right? It's like dropping a stone into a pond, and it does all the little ripple effects outside. And it doesn't just affect the man that's getting stabbed and the families and the victims or anything like that. It affects the community around it. And there's some things that then I can't unsee that I have to live with every single day. But that man over there, I got so many questions for him. So many questions for the man that did it. Like, do you even remember it? Because he was high and drunk at the time. And it was all to do over a 20-pound bag of cocaine. And that's crazy that, life can just be gone in an instant.
Yes.
And that, it was my relationship with Lou and Mum's relationship with Lou during that time was tough because I didn't want to talk about anything. My sort of reaction to it all was, no, I can't talk about it. Whereas my mum just wanted to keep talking about every detail and go over it and over it. And that was probably the worst decision I ever made, like not talking about it.
Was not talking about it.
Yeah.
And why so?
Because it built up a lot. Like it was just like sweeping it under the carpet to the point that then it was unavoidable. And then it all came out at once in so many different ways to the point that, I tried to kill myself. Like it was tough. It was really tough, man.
You tried to take your life?
There was one night, my mum doesn't even know this. There was one night, I must have been like, and this is years after it now. This is years after the 2 years. And in the middle of the night, I've had the thoughts, it comes over me like a cloud, right? And the thoughts come over me and then I'm like, I can't stop thinking about it. And I was there in the middle of the night and I got out of bed and I went for a walk. I think I even was like going for a breakup at the time and stuff like that. It was like a really just wild time. And I went for a walk down the A217 in Sutton.
Okay.
And there's a bridge that goes across, and it would usually be, whenever I tried to get into my fitness bag and go on runs, that would be the run route. And there's this bridge that goes across, and I can't remember how long I was out on this bridge for. I can't remember. My phone was dead. Everything. It must have been about 4:30, 5 in the morning. And I didn't know what I was going to do. But I felt so low, and I felt like, well, I can't stop thinking about this. I just want to switch it off for a second. And just a second, but then that second, and then I was like overthinking about that thought process. And I'm like, well, you're here now, and then like, how are you gonna explain it? How are you gonna bounce back from this? How are you ever gonna come to terms with it? And it's like this overthinking effect. And there was no cars out at that time, and then there was just one car that came past, right? And the car beeped, and then I was like, you're not gonna do this. I was like, you can't. I was like, no way, can you? I went back home, I got into bed, and I woke up, and I was like, morning, Mum. I just went about my day. And it's kind of that low moment right there. I always think about the things that have happened in my past, from growing up and feeling like a real big struggle with abandonment, seeing lives just vanish in front of me.
Yes.
I see all of these things, and I think about those low moments, and they push me to where I go today. Like they keep me going further. They're actually my biggest strength, and my biggest strength comes about from talking about things.
Yes. But at that point, it sounds like you were not, to your point earlier, you were not talking about these things. But you never mentioned that incident to your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever mention that to anyone else?
I spoke to Molly about it. Now, so it's more so now because I'm okay, and you don't want to burden people. You don't want to worry them. Whereas now, I'm like, yeah, man, I'm fighting through it. I'm still working it out. I'm still, like powering through. Everybody always looks at you and goes, oh yeah, Ty, you're the confident one. You're you're doing that. Oh, you was on Strictly, swear down. Yeah, it was great. But I'm still like inside, I've still got that 14-year-old self that's like shook, like absolutely shook. But it's each day that goes past, every hour that goes past, it's all things moving forward
Yes.
and moving, not necessarily moving away from it because it's always there, but another day of dealing with it better, another day of being better.
Yes. Isn't that something how we always say, and you just said it, that we don't want to burden our loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore we just hold it. But you would want all your loved ones to tell you.
Yeah, that's insane.
Now, you did mention, though, that it was your father, though, who showed up for you
Mm-hmm.
at the case.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a court case around
Yeah.
around the moment.
So it was so the UK, the government just introduced a new law about knife crime, saying that it's life imprisonment with a bladed article. It was in 2010, in and around that time.
The number of offenses involving a knife or sharp object has slowly decreased across the UK, with a 5% reduction between 2024 and 2025. However, in London, the number of crimes reported involving a knife or sharp object reached an all-time high in 2025, with 16,344 incidents recorded. In the period of March 2023 to March 2024, there were 262 murders involving a knife across England and Wales. Now, this really hits. 57 of these murders were people under the age of 25, and 17 were people under the age of 16.
Barely lived.
Look at that. It seems like the court case was because this gentleman was murdered, and the person who did it was facing life in prison. Okay.
It was, yeah, and also, I think it's the thing about me finding my voice. I was the key witness, right? I was the eyewitness. I was the only one that saw the whole thing from start to finish on a busy council estate. My dad showed up and he came and supported my mum and my brother and sat there with him in the gallery in the courtroom where the man was, and I was doing it in a separate room at the Old Bailey via video link. And then I said, like, to this chaperone that was with me, I was like, oh, can they see me in there? Because my biggest fear at that time was like, this man's gonna come and kill me. Like, there's no way about it. He's going to get out of prison. He's going to come and stab me. I'm about to send him down. And she was like, yeah. So all of a sudden, this massive plasma screens come out in front of the man, and he's watching me testify against him. And I'm like, man, I'm 14 at this time. 15. It was hard. Like that court case there was, yeah, it was horrible. And also, the thing that will never ever leave me to this day, I know what I saw, and there was another man there. And the other man was kicking the body and moving the body, trying to put it in a bag. And I testified against him. I ID'd him on an ID parade at a police station in Lewisham. And then still, that man got rehoused by the council to the other side of Croydon. And he got let go because he didn't have any drugs or alcohol in his system, and it was a 14-year-old's testimony going against him.
So the second man was let go. So you must be very fearful at that point because he's out.
I used to go Croydon all the time with my school friends, right? I wouldn't go there. I would not go there. It's only until like now, more recent days, I'm like, yeah, I can go there now. Like it's a place I've grown up, so it's hard. Yeah, it's hard. Like the thought process that from the get-go, I've always been feeling like my voice has never been enough. Like even when I finally did start to just discover my voice, it's like, well, it's not enough.
Right.
They don't believe you.
Right, because look what happens.
Yeah.
The gentleman who actually perpetrated the crime of stabbing that gentleman, what happened to him?
So he said that he had mental health difficulties, and he has gone away to prison, and he got like an extra something like 300 life in prison and an extra 350 days or something for putting a damaging imprint on a 14-year-old's mind. But he's gone to a mental health prison, and that's where he currently is.
Okay. When you reflect back, is there anything that you think the system, society, individuals should have done better?
So much. Like for example, I'm sat in this room, and the chaperone, first of all, then now told me, yeah, absolutely, everybody can see your face. That's not good enough. Like, I'm 14. Like, what's the point? I might as well be sat in the room next to him giving it live in person. What's the point in doing it via video link? And then there's also the case of with this evidence portfolio in front of me, and then the defense will go, oh, can you turn to page 56? And then I'm going through. On the first page there's the man's body. On the second page there's the knife. I'm now seeing things that were in his apartment that I hadn't even seen. I'm seeing blood splatters. I'm seeing like different parts of the street. It's all of these things that then now it's just made that imprint worse.
Right.
Now it's made it like, oh, here's a flashback, Ty. Don't worry, just get to page 56 and say, yeah, is this the view from your window? Yes, it is. There's so much that could have been handled in a different way. And I think, you said the statistics yourself. Like, knife crime hasn't changed. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's still here. It's worse. So at what point does there come a change? At what point? I don't know what the answer is. Like my whole career so far, in the back of my mind, I've been, speaking with people and trying to learn so much more about it. But nobody can seem to get to the answer.
Sure. But what do you believe? Because I would imagine this is one of those equations where it's 50 different things that need to change in order for us to have actual change.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you believe are the 2-3 most substantive things that need to change?
Obviously they've changed the accessibilities of how easy it is for you to go and purchase a knife and things like that. There's some amazing people in the community that are like doing different schemes where you can like gangs and people that have knives can hand them in. Like, and the police are coming up with schemes as to how you can get these knives off the streets. I think one thing that has stuck with me, by talking about it and sharing my experience, hopefully it can make somebody who's thinking about getting a knife or thinking about protecting themselves with a knife or anything like that, hopefully it can make them go, well, I don't want to feel like that. So by talking about it, that exposure right there,
yes,
it's a game changer. It really is. There's one guy I know called Gideon who he came into my radio show. He was a young person that had won an award, and he was stabbed, and the knife was 0.3 millimeters away from his heart, and he now goes around public speaking and talking about it. And I'm like, you are a prime example of a young person that needs to be talking about this and sharing your experience.
Yes.
So that hopefully the next person isn't one of those statistics.
Yes, absolutely. And you, to this day, you still carry those memories, and you just mentioned that you'll all forever have those memories.
Yeah, without a doubt. But also, if that hadn't have happened, I wouldn't be sat here with you right now. There's no way about it how I would be sat here with you right now, because I went through like 2 years of pain, which led into some of the best accomplishments and achievements of my life. Off the back of that, off the back of feeling like that.
Yes. All right, so I want to talk about this. But one area that I think we have to talk about, and it's interesting because when you came in, you talked about Jordan Stevens' book and how brilliant it was, right? Absolutely brilliant book. When I think back, because he was a guest here, I think back, I had such an incredible conversation. We talked about so many things. And when we have a guest come, we'll clip up different pieces of the interview and we'll put them out. There's one clip from Jordan Stevens' interview that is one of the most viral clips out of all of the guests that we've had. And you know what the clip is? You could probably guess what the clip is and what he's talking about.
The one about when he's talking about growing up mixed race. Yeah.
Exactly. Think about that, right? So he was expressing how he didn't feel black enough in certain circles, didn't feel white enough, maybe in certain circles, didn't know how he fit into society. There are an endless number of comments, good, bad, and ugly.
Yeah.
Right. So enter this one with caution. But what was your experience? And the reason why I think Jordan and I went down that road was because in the States, and this was my experience in the States, because not everyone went through this experience, is that there was a court case called Plessy versus Ferguson in the United States many, 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 many years ago that stated if you had, quote unquote, one drop, I think it equated to 1/8 or 1/16 drop of black blood.
Yeah.
You were black.
Yeah.
So for the longest, it wasn't a mixed race category. It was, no, you're black, right? So if we grew up together in New York, it would be, no, Tyler, you're black. Regardless of your lived experience, it's just, you're black. Your father's black. Okay, you're black. But when I got here, I'll never forget, I was on Celebs Go Dating.
Yeah.
Could be my first week. Celebs
Okay.
Go Dating. And there was a gentleman, I won't give his name, but he was one of the celebs. And I asked a question of, okay, so who do you want us to set you up with? Now, in the States, race and ethnicity would typically be like in the top 3 things that people would outline. But maybe it was because of the TV show, or maybe because he was just trying to be politically correct. He didn't give me a race or ethnicity.
Right.
So I said, well, would you like to date someone black or not? And he asked me, well, why did I immediately jump to black? I said, because you're black. He said, no, I'm not black. I'm mixed race.
Okay. Right.
I went home. I was
So confused, right?
I went to my wife. I was like, this guy doesn't know he's black.
Yeah.
This guy does not know.
God.
But then I was really schooled
Yeah.
on the category of mixed race.
Yeah.
So I say all of that because I'm so curious about this in the UK.
Yeah.
What has been your lived experience?
I think the surroundings that you're in really affect how you feel about yourself. I was in a very similar sense to Jordan. I'd have my black friends going, you're mixed race, you don't understand. Yeah, you don't get it. You'll never understand. So then I'm being pushed away from that side. And then all of a sudden I'm on my walk to school and people are shouting the N-word at me. And people are saying, go back to Africa. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, all right, I'm Jamaican. Yeah, okay, we're going with that. But still, it's like you're caught in this limbo between a rock and a hard place. And I just think that the one thing, and I spoke out about this as well, and I had a comment under one of the videos, and it was like, bad parenting, not knowing who you are. And I'm like, honestly, I've had phenomenal parenting. It's actually the world that we're in that makes it such a confusing place to navigate. But I never ever want my kids to grow up not knowing who they are or being unsure of who they are. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't want them to go through that pain of questioning their identity like I had to, because I was there. I was torn. I was like, do I go with my white friends? Do I go with my black friends? Like they weren't getting on in the playground. I was like, so I'm sort of in between floating and I don't really have a home. So, and I'm not trying to sit there and plead like, I've had it tougher or anything like that, because it's just one of those things. I was always going to take offense from both angles. I was always going to take offense from both people, saying stuff towards me or hateful comments.
Yes. So this is interesting. So let's say there's a literal checkbox, and I find it interesting is that there's like a million options in the UK.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand what we're doing there with those checkboxes, yeah, because I promise you now, that's why the forms take so long. That's why they take so long.
Yes.
I just take Caribbean, anything that says Caribbean.
All right, I like it. I like it. JA all the way.
Yeah.
So eventually you find your voice, right? I'm curious as to what do you believe was that moment, that inflection point where you went from reserved, could I say introverted?
Yeah, very, very.
Very introverted to I found my voice.
It was when I was in the process of me trying to overcome, like, get back outside, basically, because I was in my room. I was watching Indiana Jones movies. I was obsessed with movies, right? I loved them. Like every Will Smith movie I've seen, every Martin Lawrence film. It was like the thing I would do. I would come home from school and I would just sit there and watch movies with a cup of tea and rich tea biscuits, and other biscuits available, by the way. But in that process of me trying to get out of my bedroom again, I was big into sport when I was younger. I used to play basketball, right?
Okay.
At school, and my school was a sports college. And then I started going back in and I started playing this new sport called handball. And I was like, it's kind of like basketball, but it's like football with your hands. And also the ball, because I was quite like tall and skinny, I was like, my hands were quite big, and the size of the ball we'd play with was like a miniature football, and I could grab the ball like that and I could just dash it in the goal. And I was like, is that it? I was like, that's easy. And then all of a sudden, like, my school started like really adopting it, became like a Southeast training academy. And I got into the Southeast England team. And then I got into the England team. And then I carried on training, and I got into the Great Britain squad. And it was during a training session for the team that CBBC came in to introduce kids to new sports, and handball was one of them. And CBBC were just coming along for a training session. It was a show called Friday Download, and they were like, "Oh, who can explain the rules? Like, who wants to do a little bit on camera?" And I was like, nobody else wanted to do it. I was like, all right, fine. I had a Mohican, yeah. and I was there, and I was in my training bag, and I was like, look, it's just 30 seconds on camera, sweet. And I did it, and then somebody there said, oh, you're pretty good at like chatting on camera. You ever done this before? And I was like, no. I've never ever imagined like being on telly. And then after that, they contacted my mum. My mum took the details, and they contacted my mum and said, oh, hey, does Tyler want to do a guest presentation slot? Like, we're going to send him to go learn how to do trampolining with the GB trampolining team up in Northampton. And then I did my first ever, I remember going to Debenhams, right? And I had to go and get a makeup colour match in store because the team didn't know, at that time, they didn't know what skin colour I had and like how to match it. It was really, anyway. So they gave us a budget for that. I've got the makeup done in store, and we've gone up to Northampton, and I've done this like, it's literally like a 2-minute VT for a CBBC show, right? And it was during that moment they're filming that. But once we wrapped on set, I was like, Mum, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And she was like, whoa, like that's sick. And also when I got that call to do the guest presentation slot, I was like, Mum, pack your bags, we're going to Hollywood. Like, I was like, this is happening. I was like,
You're like Will Smith?
I'm watching the TV, I'm watching the films. I'm like, yeah, I can do the Fresh Prince. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, let me jump into that. But that was it. That was my first introduction to CBBC. That was like children's television, something that I've like loved and grown up watching. And it was the sport aspect of it that sort of, like, I had a really hard decision to do at the end of my A-levels, right? It was either go to uni and study digital television production. It was either go to, I was still playing handball, and they were like, this Danish team offered me a contract out there.
Oh, wow.
But it wasn't, it was like lower league, and it was just like, so I could barely survive on the wage that they would pay, and they would give me accommodation and whatnot, and I'll just train over there. Or stay working at McDonald's and take a gap year and try and break into television. And out of those three options, what do you think I went for?
Mickey D's.
The double cheeseburgers, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Was it in Sutton? The Mickey D's in Sutton?
Yeah. Oh, not the one on the high street, but the one up the 817.
Okay. Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I drive by it when
drive through. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Actually, every time we go to Sutton to watch, my son is like, stop there.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. So now I have to ask, you had no training as a TV presenter.
No.
Right. So you go in, they ask you to do this thing. What was it that happened in that moment that made you feel like this is it? And this is such an important question, I think, to so many people, because that was a true inflection point in your life.
Yeah.
And so many of us are trying to figure out, what are we actually passionate about? You found your thing. But how did you know it was your thing?
It was so far outside of my comfort zone. I promise you that I'll show you, once we wrap here today, I'll show you a snippet of it. And when I look back, I couldn't answer that question for you. I'm like, that was dreadful, Tyler. That was the worst bit of television I've ever seen in my whole entire life. But in the moment, I loved it. I thought, wow, I wonder where this could take me. I wonder what the possibilities are if I just like get over this little bit of a fear and I just dive in, like, and just give it my full undivided attention.
Yes.
And that was it. That fire within me, like, that's never left me. I still to this day get shy. I still to this day get nervous. I still have all of those feelings and emotions back then from when I first started. But I always think back, like, well, you did that. Like, yeah, you fist bumped the king. Yeah, you did Charleston on Saturday night television. Yeah, you did those things. That you've done a radio show. Like, it's all these like little accomplishments. So if everybody always says to me, like, what's your end goal? I don't have an end goal. It's like a checklist. It's like a load of things that I'm like, I want to be able to accomplish that in my career, and I will do it.
Yes. Do you still consider yourself an introvert?
Yeah, I do. Even though I'm like the loudest in the room and the vibiest and like would always be the last to leave the dance floor, deep down it's taken me a lot to get to that moment.
Yes. I mean, you're doing very, very well in your career. Very, very well. And over a short period of time, because let me run down some things.
Oh, God.
2015 is when we're talking about Kickabout. You hosted that. You're 19 years old, right? 2017, 21, you become a host at MTV News. 2018, you start your own podcast, Everyday Hustle, to
Yeah.
explore the journey of successful entrepreneurs. 2019 is when you join KISS FM, and then you're just announced alongside Chloe Burrows,
Yeah.
which that is going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because Chloe's always a whole lot
Chloe's
of fun.
great, man.
As the new host for KISS FM Breakfast.
Yeah.
Right, which is big. This is, if you think about this, so this is 2025. We're saying that 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So within a 10-year period, there's been quite a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
But at what point in that line do you feel like you actually stepped into your true voice?
That's a good question. I think it was probably actually like quite recent. Like probably I'm talking after Strictly Come Dancing. It was probably after Strictly. And that was like what, 2022. So only for the last 3 years do I feel like I've been absolutely everywhere that I can walk and look. I'm fully like, that's my voice. That's me going through. That's my opinion. That's my creativity.
Okay. I do think to a degree, and I'm looking back at my career, is that I do think that I was largely showing up the way people told me
Right.
to show up early
Yeah.
in my career. Like I always talk about how I was forced to wear suits early in my career on TV. Like it was one of those things that
Wild.
where Tyler, I literally, this year is almost over. This is 2025, right? I have successfully gone through this year without wearing one suit.
Jeez, you see that win there? So yeah, that is big, man. Congratulations, Paul.
Thank you.
If that's what you're taking away from this year, that's the.
This is my big thing. And I'll tell you the reason why is because I will never forget the first time I ever was on a television show. They said, Paul, look, here's the fact of the matter is that, you really don't look like an expert. So if you wear a suit,
Wow.
people will actually listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
So it was one of those where I thought, okay, I have to wear a suit. So I would just wear suits because that's what they told me to wear.
Mm-hmm.
So I was showing up how I felt like I was told to show up. I'm not saying this is your experience, but I feel like this is often the experience of so many people in TV early on. What was your experience like early on?
I was trying to look like the person that I thought people might want me to be. I was trying to. You got to remember, like growing up watching telly, there was not a lot of people that looked like me and sound like me that I could look up to. There was people like from back in the day. I'm talking Lenny Henry.
Yes.
Yeah. Reggie Yates.
Yes.
Yeah. Legends like that I would glorify. I'd be like, oh my days, like I just need to be like them. But then the problem that I found is when I started doing this kind of work, they'd be like, oh no, yeah, but you're like Reggie Yates. And they'll be putting us in the same category. Like we're now becoming one person. And I'm going, right, okay, so I actually have no choice but to be my whole authentic self. The Tyler that would watch Indiana Jones movies and has a torch collection back at home. Yeah, the Tyler that loves food, loves chicken nuggets, loves wings and loves to go out and be the last on the dance floor. All of those things make me who I am. And when you lean into that rather than sort of going, no, but that's not really what the professionals say that we should be doing. The whole point, when I start doing that, that's when the whole thing becomes way more enjoyable.
Yes.
And you start doing things that you're like, oh, this feels great. Like I want to be doing this for the rest of my life. Not, oh, I've started talking in a very funny accent and now I've got to keep it up for the whole of my career. I'm not doing that. Right. I can't change how I'm made up.
Mom, dad, brother, incredibly proud.
Yeah, it is. And Nan as well,
Yes, facts.
Always.
I'm incredibly grateful right now for the One Better Guide by our sponsor, Adobe Express, for helping me to elevate one of the most important moments of the year for me, and that is the Amber Rising campaign at Sutton United. Amber Rising is a campaign I started last year to help increase the number of people attending football matches who had never been before. It was such a great day. There were so many incredible moments that we captured lots of content. Now, I want to share with you a clip. It's one of my favorites of the day. It's a mother with her 2 kids.
Didn't think we'd actually enjoy it as as much. I thought this one would be more into it.
Now, the audio wasn't great on that clip, but that's where the One Better Guide comes in. I couldn't help but recall a lesson from Lucy Warner about refining the small details so that your audience feels cared for. So I open Adobe Express, drop the clip in, click Enhance Speech, and it lifts her voice to a place where it's crystal clear.
Didn't think we'd actually enjoy it as much. I thought this one would be more into it.
So much better now. This tiny 1% adjustment allows me to share the heart of what Amber Rising is all about to the people who made that day so special. So if you want to unlock the One Better Guide for free, you could find it yourself in Adobe Express. Genuinely, I can't remember a time when the lead up to the holidays hasn't been busier. I mean, I've got the school activities for the boys. They also have sports activities. Then there's the holiday shopping for not only the family, but the wife. Then I have the podcast. I'm filming a few TV shows. I mean, things are busy. I drink our sponsor, Huel, throughout the year. But I gotta say, I really appreciate their products the most in December. It's one less thing to think about. Now, I switch between the two. The Huel Black Edition ready to drink when I want to feel fuller. And then the Huel Light ready to drink when I need something a bit lighter. The Black Edition has 35 grams of protein, 26 vitamins and minerals, and it's high in fiber. Similarly, Light has 26 vitamins and minerals, 25 grams of protein, and it's only 190 calories. If you're new to Huel and want 10 pounds off your first purchase over 60 pounds, use my code WNTT at huel.com/WNTT. Off camera, you know what they're saying? They're saying that I don't eat. This is the only thing that I consume, and without this, I would not be able to do this podcast. So Huel, truly, thank you. All right, if you've made it this far, I know you're loving the conversation, so please do me one small favor, hit that bell icon, join our community. Thank you. All right, so thinking about the career, though, is would you say that Strictly was the biggest moment, maybe prior to the current, but would you say Strictly was kind of the biggest moment of your career professionally?
At the time, yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
All right. There's only two people who've not heard of Strictly,
Yeah.
right, in the world.
Yeah.
But how would you describe it?
Mm.
And is that a project that you've always wanted to be a part of?
Mm-hmm. I would describe Strictly as a beast. It is a beast in every aspect. And it put me on the map in terms of like getting into households and being able to connect with a bigger audience, which I love. I love being able to either make someone laugh, make someone smile, or listen out for their story or showcase another story. I love it. So it was the biggest blessing in that way. But then also, I'd say the worst, because it has you on such a high that they don't warn you about. And I know, we watch it and we're like, oh, it's Strictly, of course, it'll be a dream to do that and everything. And you have all these conversations about it. But when you're there and you're in it, genuinely, it does become a world. It becomes like a separate world. You do feel like, oh, I'm on cloud nine. Yeah, this is it. This is the peak. And everything's a lot deeper. Everything's a lot harder to process. And the pressure is on. And then all of a sudden, it's just gone.
Yes.
And nobody talks about like the after bit, like and what that's like. And then because one of the most nerve-wracking things, bearing in mind coming from me, like growing up, and I didn't really have a voice and everything like that. One of the most nerve-wracking things is going out and dancing in front of millions of people live on a Saturday night. Bear in mind, I'm not a professional dancer. That's scary.
Yes.
Like that is, and that's like squeaky bum time, man. That's me there, nervous. But once you've accomplished that, your confidence and how you felt, how I felt coming off the back of Strictly, I was like, oh, I'm flying right now. This is it. And then you then start looking at your life and go, well, how can I feel that again?
Yes.
And that's the difficult part about it.
Yes.
Coming off the back of the show, I think I had a different experience to anybody else that's ever done it, because I've met love in my life. Do you know what I mean? And also, so it was kind of like we were there for each other, and my work never stopped during the show. Everybody goes, like, some people, when you get given the opportunity to go on Strictly, some people just go like, oh yeah, I'm going to stop work, I'm just going to focus on dance. Whereas I was like, back to the old days when I was doing, working as a support worker and working on CBBC, I was doing multiple jobs still. I was getting up, I was going to rehearsals from like 8 till 2, and then I would go across to Kiss 3 till 7, and then I'll go back in the evenings 8 till 10, and that was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then all of a sudden stay up near the L Street studios, did the tech run on the Friday, do my radio show from there, then still do the show on Saturday, and then feet in ice on Sunday.
Look at that.
And you would just make it work. And I think that for me, because I always knew that, look, this is going to come to an end at some point. Even though I'm feeling like great like this, I'm thinking about the next step. I'm always thinking about the future. I'm always like trying to make sure everybody's safe.
Yes.
Especially myself. That sort of helped me in coming out of the show in that process.
I love that. I love that. Like you took advantage of the moment.
Mm.
When people say took advantage of the moment, it's like no, you leveraged the moment, and then that helped you to get so many other moments. There's something I want to show you.
Oh God!
Given the balance that they
What you know what, you're like Mary Poppins on this show. You just keep every single time Paul moves his cushion, he brings out something else. I'm like, how far is it going down?
I have so many things in these cushions. This, my friend,
Oh wow, yeah,
I believe happened during Strictly.
yeah.
If you could describe
So that's
what's happening there.
that's me, my brother, and my dad at my brother's wedding in Mauritius.
All right.
Yeah, that was really special that I could be there.
And so you're training for Strictly.
Mm-hmm.
You fly out.
Mm-hmm.
How many miles?
I couldn't tell you.
It's Mauritius, yeah.
It's Mauritius. It's far. It's like it's over like 11 hours. I think,
11 hours.
flight.
And then you're back.
I walk my brother down the aisle. I do the ceremony with him. I was there for three hours, and then I got back on the flight to come home, just so that I could be there. Yeah.
Look at that. Now, Celebrity Race Across the World.
Yeah.
It's a show that you could sit down with your entire family, sit around, be inspired at any age.
Mm-hmm.
And the numbers are just, I had no idea how big the show was. So in the week, this is this past month, last month, the week of the 17th through the 23rd alone, the show hit 5.48 million viewers.
It's crazy.
One of the most watched shows in Britain. It's like incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible. How do you describe that show?
That show is a genuine once in a lifetime experience. If you even think about it, like, say for example they do another series and they try to go back and do the same route from Mexico through to Colombia, it's still going to be different. Do you know what I mean? It's completely different every single time, and it's so bespoke that you just feel, again, it's almost like that high that I had on Strictly, right? But I now have it with me in my memories forever because of what it was like being on it, because you're traveling to some untouched places, you're off the beaten track, you are fully immersing yourself, you're disconnecting from the world back at home, you don't have your phone, you have minimal budget. I'm very bad at maths, right? So that 5.48 million people witnessed me, just absolutely not counting the budget at all and doing dreadful with that. We finished with 1% of the budget left, right? It was like £17. And that was, honestly, we probably wouldn't have made it to the end of the show. I don't know how we did it. But yeah, it was life-changing, man. Yeah. Life-changing.
Is it, so you literally only have that budget to spend, truly?
Yeah, you don't get it.
They don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can do jobs along the way to try and earn a bit more money to like boost it up a little bit. But I mean, we're talking like minimum wage jobs, like minimum wage. You've got a budget here, and we learned a lot about ourselves throughout that show. But it was the best experience, traveling like that and seeing a part of the world was
just beautiful. So it was Mexico
through to Colombia.
All right. Had you ever visited Mexico? Colombia?
No, I think actually, I think I'd been via Cancun once, but that was like, that was ages ago. But I'd never ever thought about me backpacking, wildlife. We don't do well. Right?
Okay.
I'm not an outdoorsy type of person or anything like that. I can't. Like I'm petrified of insects. Like I don't do it. Whereas, Mexico through to Colombia. I mean, it's always one of those parts of the world that you would love to travel to.
Yes,
but you think, oh, it's so far. I can't do that. No, I can't get the time off.
And then some people say it's dangerous. I mean, Medellin is where you...
Yeah. That was one of my favorite places.
Really?
Yeah, one of my favorite places. There's a place called Cartagena. We did a Campeche dance class, and it was amazing. Like, it was so good. And then there was the Gunayala Islands in Panama. And as we're traveling through, we got off on this island, and it's like there's nobody else that's been here, and we're with like an indigenous family, like, and they're serving up. I'm going fishing and cooking up on a fire, that's you don't do that. You don't get to experience that, you know.
No. What is from a production standpoint? Who is with you? Is it?
We've got a team. We've got a team. Every pair has a team, but there's different people throughout the show that just pop up and fill in different spots. It's logistically it's a nightmare because me and Molly was on it with our map, and if we say we're going in that direction, any crew that's with us know, yeah, that's the wrong way, like, and they just have to go with it.
They have to go.
They have to go with it. Like we stayed in like this $5 sex motel one time, and it was so funny. Like our producer director Sam, he's just coming in to film like the end of day interviews, and these people are just watching us go into this $5 sex motel room. And Sam's just coming in with this big TV camera, and me and Molly, and we're like, guys, this doesn't look great. This doesn't look great from the BBC.
Oh my God, yeah, it's incredible. I love that though, that they're giving you no guidance whatsoever.
No.
There's not even a wink like you're going in the wrong direction.
Just got to fly. That's it.
Do it. How competitive did you get?
Oh God, yeah, it caught up with us. I've always had the competitive nature from young, from playing basketball, playing handball.
Yes.
And I was any sort of competition I get into, I'm like, yeah, we need to show up. But I'm more of a team player, which is good. So obviously it's good that I was in a pairing and not just on my own. And Molly is 10 million times more competitive than me. So it was like, having that balance of us both, like we was like, yeah, it was like the A team. Like we were ready to go. Like at every given moment, if we're running, we're sprinting. Like we don't care. We got to get there, sort of thing. So
love it. What do you believe was the most challenging moment for you?
The most challenging moment on that show. There was a moment that wasn't shown because obviously there's you got to remember there's so many days that are confided down into one episode, and there was one border crossing we went through and it was particularly tough. It was quite rural and it was there was a lot of it was almost like the town had a party, but the town, obviously for the local people, they had like the gun shop right there, they had machetes like everywhere, and everybody was kind of like couldn't take us, like they couldn't drive us anywhere, so we had to get to safety because it looked a bit shady. But it was in that moment there where I felt so out of control and out of my depth, trying to protect Molly, trying to think about like, right, cool, we've got to make the decision to get out of here. Like, where are we going to go to? And it made me panic because it made me go back to when I was like 14. Do you see what I'm saying? Like mentally in my head, I was like, there's knives around me. I don't feel safe right now. But then also I'm in a new environment that I can't control. Whereas back in London, I know that if we're out in the street and trouble kicks off, like I know where we can go to get to safety. I know what to do. I know what we need to, how we should handle this situation, But yeah, over there, that was one of the most like toughest points. But aside from that, I mean, navigating it like mentally, just thinking about where you're gonna eat, where you're gonna stay, how you're gonna get there. That's like, it's a lot, but we rely so heavily on our phones over here.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at how we are dependent, like it's an appendage, our phones. So you end up finishing second.
Yeah.
All right, you proud of that?
Yeah. Oh no! I am. I'm never gonna be a sore loser.
Well, how is Molly proud of that?
Yeah, no, we both are. And in the moment, it was so tough because you got to remember we've been racing for 6 weeks to get to this point, and like Roman and Harley, they're the best people. We wouldn't have, like, honestly, couldn't have had like a better like last final stretch of that race. When we got up to the finish line, it was really weird because we was literally, it was like a 2-horse race right to the finish. Yeah, it was a foot race, and we've then gone up there, and we could have all just put our hands on the book at the same time, but then we was like, you know what, they're literally like just there. Like Harley was then coming up behind me, and I was like, look, let's just leave it. And then me and Molly had our moment there, and there was this really special moment where like Roman and Harley are celebrating, and the camera's on them, and then it pulls focus, and it goes through, and it's me and Molly like hugging in the background and like supporting one another. And it was just like, I will never forget that. Like, that's where I feel like we tapped into a different kind of love.
Really?
Yeah, on that moment that I'll never ever forget that. It was really special.
How would you describe that new love that you've tapped into?
Oh gosh. Just the best feeling in the whole entire, like, I almost thought it was unattainable. It's like that level.
Wow.
Yeah.
New level unlocked. To go through that experience with someone that you love must make it a different type of experience.
Yeah, because a lot of people will say, "Oh, I can never go through that with my partner." What? 24 hours a day for 6 weeks? But let me tell you, Paul, there were some moments on on that show where, you know, and Molly will kill me for saying this, but we was like we had food poisoning at one point, right? And we let's just say an accident happened, right? And she's just like started crying and looking at me, and then also I'm then like throwing up, and we're yo-yoing from the same toilet, right? And it was like we just looked at each other and we thought, you can never leave me now. Like, nobody else is ever gonna take me up to this moment right here.
Too many things.
Oh yeah, we're like, but I prefer it like that. Like she's my best friend. Like there's all levels of feeling comfortable there. It's my safest space on earth.
Yes. So you experience the lows,
Mm-hmm.
but then also highs.
You have the highs with it.
I have a moment that I want to show you right here.
Mm.
You know I've got things. I've got something.
This sofa, man.
Tell me about this moment.
Oh yeah,
What was going on in that photo?
this was lit. So this was we had traveled to Costa Rica. So this actually wasn't shown, right?
Okay.
So this was my birthday. I had my birthday whilst I was away on the show. And there was so much to include from all the episodes. It was just one of the things that got cut. And we worked at a nightclub in Costa Rica, right? And I'll never forget the production like calling us up and saying, "Hey, listen, guys, you need to finish that job now that you're doing and go, because we've got a TV show to fill." Because we were having such a great time. They did like a bottle service, gave us like a little cake in the club. But that's a birthday I can never forget.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's like
That's
the
weird.
memory. It's like, yeah, the memories, just incredible.
Don't get me wrong, we was massively underdressed. Like I will never turn up to a club like that. But yeah, it was, and we stunk and we were dirty, we were filthy. But either way, it was just like we just didn't care.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Didn't care.
I'm gonna give that one back to you, but I love that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so then, can we talk about Molly?
Yeah.
All right. You first met Molly, was it on Strictly?
Yeah, so this is it's really weird how our lives are sort of intertwined. But the first time I met her was the first day that I arrived at Elstree Studios. It was like day one of Strictly rehearsals, and she was at the other end of the corridor. Like I arrived early and she was there early, and she was at the other end of the corridor. And obviously it got announced, and everybody, the minute that her picture went up, loads of my boys were sending me pictures saying, "Oh, here we go, Molly's bit of you," and stuff like that. And I'm like, guys, it's professional. Chill out. I'm not doing that. I'd had some traumatizing relationships in the past, and I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm staying single. I'm focusing on my career. That's it. I'm me now. The day that I walked into Strictly, she was at the other end of the corridor. Yeah, I just said, "Oh, that's out the window." It's long. I was like, she's so hot. I was like, that's it. I was just, I was obsessed.
From moment one.
It was like this initial like feeling, but then I've gone, no, it's not. I started sabotaging. I was like, nah, surely not. No, we're just here to keep it professional, like strictly professional and everything like that. And she was in the same mindset as well, which I found out. But the first day we met was the first day that we went to Strictly. So we literally did the whole experience side by side.
Wow. Okay. So not to go too far beyond that point, but I have to mention, you said you had some traumatizing relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So how long had it been since you were in a committed relationship?
Oh God, it was probably, Strictly was in 2022. I probably spent like the most wholesome year and a bit on my own. Because one thing that I've always struggled with from the get-go was this feeling of abandonment. I've always had it. I've always stayed in things a little too long, thinking that I'm this hopeless romantic and it's got to work. I was like, of course we're arguing, it's toxic, but we've got to stay at it, because I'm like, you can't leave me. Because every single moment in my life, it's always come with like but they're gonna leave in a minute, and they're gonna leave in a minute. So I would hold on for dear life, and then what I then realised is that I need to be comfortable in being on my own before I can then be with someone else. And I weren't perfect, and I've made mistakes, and I've done all of those things in the past. But then it's like the growth that I've had and the understanding and clarity that I have now. I'm like, I was so, after that year, when I then met Molly, I was like self-sabotaging. And then my friend Christian, I remember being on the phone to him, and he was like, "Bro, what are you holding back for? Like, you've just described like your perfect person. You've met someone that you can't stop smiling when you're talking about it. Like, what are you holding back for?"
Right. But you just saying this, at least helps me to understand that you were walking into that scenario saying, I have been traumatized, I have self-sabotage, but you know what? The last year, I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, let me not shake anything. From a professional standpoint, you're on the rise as well. So you don't want to maybe exert energy out there so you can stay focused.
Yeah.
So you were just locked in,
Mm-hmm.
but you saw her and she unlocked your
Yeah.
situation quick. So do you remember the first conversation that you had with her?
Yeah, it was like, where do we need to go in the corridor? It was like that because we were both lost as anything. But then, I mean, that was like the first sort of interaction. But then there's been so many moments because when you're in the Strictly bubble, like you're staying up there at the hotel and you're like having these conversations. I just remember having deep chats with her out of the middle of nowhere about like our exes and previous relations and what we've gone through in our lives and things like that. And I just felt like, right, why does this feel like such a safe space to communicate with you? Like it shouldn't be like this. I'm like, wait, what's the catch?
Yes.
That's where I was at.
All right. So not to break any bro code and not to unleash any secrets, but please, because I think a lot of ladies will want to know this, is that you saw Molly, you knew you were interested in her, but then you have all of these conversations in a very platonic, friendly way with her. In your mind, were you thinking, it's only a matter of time before this becomes a thing? Like, is this a plot? Are you being methodical? Because
like, as in, like, am I leading her?
exactly, because
Okay.
so many people say, well, men are basic.
Yeah.
They don't have any strategy. People say women are all about strategy. I plotted on my wife for a year.
Yeah.
Like a year. Like I was like, I'm gonna play this friend thing as long as I need. So I was so what was your approach?
Well, I mean, I've got a lot of friends in my life. I wasn't really looking for another friend. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I think when we first started having those deeper chats, I think a big thing for me was eye contact. I was like, she was locked in, and I was like, wow, this is like, I'm just listening, and then I'm like, not even hearing what she's saying, and then I'm like going back to, and I'm like, this is incredible. But yeah, I think deep down, there was always me sitting there and going, this, I knew, and we've always spoke about it. We knew that we could be together, but because of the environment that we was in, we were both sort of like, whoa, let's not do this now. Let's not be just another headline attached to this show.
Interesting.
And yeah, that was the best decision I ever made, man.
So what do you do next?
It was like straight up, Molly said to me, so it was like one of our first interactions. I got the first 10s of the series, right? So we was up there in Claudia's area, and then Molly comes up to me and goes, congratulations on your 10, like that. And I'm like, and this is so cringy in my mind. This was so cooler at the time, yeah. And I go, I'm looking at a 10 right now. And then I've walked away. Like the cameras had then cut to the next person dancing. I've walked away behind like the little curtain thing, and I've just had a word with myself. I was like, "What did you just say? Whoa, was that you?" Like I was gassing myself up. I was so happy. And then Molly, this is typical different way of thinking, right? And how she's perceived it. And then that was that there, but we still kept it professional, and we still did not have anything like romantically until the beginning of the tour. And then the tour, it was just like, yeah.
It happened. So then do you fall into the strictly quote unquote curse or no?
No way.
But the press, though, I would imagine, coming off of such a big show, one of the biggest in the UK, and that's where you met. You're now forever attached to,
in a way, yeah,
to that. But then the press, and I see it happens. It's so unfortunate because we know at the end of the day, the whole notion, if it bleeds, it leads, right? So if it creates controversy, people want to click into it, people want to see it. You two are both public figures, but you think about the press. Do you feel like you ever read those articles and it impacts you?
No.
It never does.
No.
Does it ever impact Molly?
I think it has done for both of us in certain parts. As long as you know what's real at home, then who cares about the noise?
Yeah, there you go.
Who cares about the noise?
And I would imagine that Molly provides for you not only a safe space, but she's in the industry, so she can help you to navigate
Mm-hmm.
different issues. She can provide inspiration as well. I think that when I think about like the relationship I have with my wife
Mm-hmm.
is, and I'll just use yesterday for example. Oh my God, yesterday was a very challenging day for me professionally. Lots of different things happening, and I remember going back home. Got home late, and I always eat dinner with my family. That's we have certain rules, certain rituals. One is that we always try to eat dinner, and I got home super late, like 11 p.m. But the boys are waiting for me, right?
That's really sweet.
So we all eat dinner. We get ready for bed, get into the bed. And I remember just holding my wife's hand, saying, "God, what would how could I survive without you?
Mm-hmm.
How could I get through this moment without this?"
Mm-hmm.
And holding her hand helped to just regulate me, just calm me down. So now I can go about my day.
Yeah.
I think what would I have been able to do without this, especially, in this industry.
What you see is what you get with us, and it's not a perfect relationship. People have arguments and people fall out, but it's like at the end of it, and I always say to them, like, I love you so much, and when you say that and you mean it, it doesn't matter what goes on in between. Like you will care for each other, you will protect each other's hearts, and that's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have another surprise for you.
Oh God.
Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
We're upgrading. I want you to take a look at this.
Hello, Tyler West. I just wanted to tell you how much I love you and how happy you make me every single day. You are literally the most thoughtful person, the most caring person I've ever known. And you just light up every room you go into, especially with your massive smile that I love so much.
The similarities.
I just wanted to say quickly how proud I am of you for continuing to just push through day in and day out and still manage to bring joy to everyone around you, even when I know you're burnt out and tired. And I'm so proud for your new venture. And yeah, I just love you so much. And I am very, very lucky to call you my fiance. Love you, Ty.
Oh man. Right, yeah, don't reload it. Damn it. Yeah, that's
It's beautiful.
do you know what? To have someone talk like that about you is a really special thing, and I think it's something that I've craved throughout my life. But I had to sort of be okay again, like be okay with myself before I opened myself up to a relationship like that. But I couldn't have asked for anything more from her.
Yeah.
I really couldn't, man.
I could see how much that you need Molly,
Mm-hmm.
and you need your brother. You need these people. And the reason why I say that is because I've noticed this correlation between what Molly just said and what your brother wrote in the letter is they both acknowledge that you deal with a lot and they know the weight that you carry. And it seems like you are close enough with them. You feel safe enough with them to unload
Mm-hmm.
so they know that weight. And it's so important for us to have a place that we can go to where we feel safe enough to unload the weight,
Yeah.
and I can see that they are there for you. They're that outlet for you. And that's so important. We all need it, but you're blessed to have it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really am, man. I count my lucky stars. That's I couldn't have asked for anything any more than that.
This is what I often say is that the true measure of a great partnership, of love,
Mhm.
is safety.
Yeah.
That's it. I think it's black and white, it's cut and dry, right? It is, do you feel safe emotionally and physically
Mhm.
with your partner? The answer is no.
Bounce.
Bounce.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
You can't be doing that, man.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. So then, and I see there's quite a large number of nonprofit organizations that you're involved in.
Mhm.
And the through line that I see with all of them is it's about mental health.
Mhm.
When I look at it, I mean, you talked about running the marathon. Was that for UK Youth?
Yeah.
You became an ambassador for Water Aid.
Mhm.
You led a fundraising event for Cash for Kids.
Yeah.
You're an ambassador at the King's Trust.
Yeah.
So the through line to a lot of the work that I see you doing, and I didn't even realize you talked about after McDonald's you were working in the community.
Yeah, I was a support worker.
Support worker, yeah. This is about, to me, mental health.
Mhm.
From your lived experience, what advice do you have for those who are struggling and want to be able to open up?
I think it's like it's the mistake that I made, right? When I went through all those traumatic things when I was younger, I just kept burying it under the carpet. And you bury it and bury it and bury it so tall, but then it becomes unavoidable. And then it comes out in so many different ways. It can come out in, you can just be angry all the time. You can be, go into some really dark places in your mind. You can be, not nice to be around, and you can fail at your work. And there's so much like a trickle effect that can come up after it. Whereas if you sit there and open up about it and talk about it, I might confess my world to you, Paul, yeah. And you might not know the correct answer to give to solve my situation. But in and amongst me just talking about it, it triggers something within me that goes, okay, that doesn't feel so heavy now.
Yes.
Loads of little like micromanaging like moments of that can build up to make you feel so at ease. And it can, and then before you know it, somebody might say to you, "Oh, how are you?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, not bad." Everybody always says not bad, not bad. But if you actually just explain how you're feeling, they might say one thing within that, and you're going, "Oh, I haven't thought about that." I mean, that's the whole point of why I've always gone when I've gone to therapy, like how it's changed my life.
Yes.
Because it's, and okay, if you don't want to burden, your partner or someone else, then reach out to some of these services, because that's what they're there for. And I didn't understand that when I was growing up. I thought, oh, okay, well, I don't know why I'm here chatting to this stranger. It's not going to help me. But you reaching out and sometimes talking to a stranger is better, because then that person, whoever's in your life that you usually go to, you don't need their opinion on it, because they're coming from it one-sided, right?
Absolutely. I've seen the research show that in traumatic events, especially if I think it was research around sexual assault,
Right.
that most people will open up to a stranger well before they'll open up to any loved one, anyone in their social circle, because it's someone that they perceive will not place any judgment on them. And ultimately, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people who are not judging us. So to your point of, if you just open up, if it's to a loved one, to a stranger, ideally what you're looking for is you're looking for someone not to place the blame, but by you just mentioning something, it will connect with the something that they've gone through. And that those two little things could put your mind at ease.
That's it.
And talking really is everything.
Yeah. And I always say, like, attack your fears daily. I always say it. I was like, just do something to step outside of your comfort zone, because that's the only time you ever grow.
Yes.
When you're outside, like, even, and it sounds stupid, like, bearing in mind I was a massive introvert, and I just would be so shy at talking to people. Even now, like, going up and saying to someone, "Hey, I like your trainers," like, that's it. You've made their day, and you've had that little 1 second interaction.
Yes.
Game changer. Full on game changer.
Yeah. You know what I say? I was telling someone that I forgot who I was talking to. It's probably on one of these shows. I was like, tell people the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's something that you like about what they have on or what they're doing, just tell them the truth. Like when you said that, I was like, I love the color palette.
Yeah.
I just do. Like, I love it's perfect.
Yeah,
it's actually your color palette truly is, by the way, I'm a color fiend.
This is it.
It is perfect.
Collection available soon. Yeah. So there'll be no joke.
Right here. We will provide a link to the Tyler West collection right there. But it's just tell people the truth.
Yeah.
And if the truth is going to be unkind, keep it to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. There's a last photo I have for you.
Right. Okay.
Now, this is a photo that I have. You're the only person that I've ever seen do this to this person. So I need to understand. Yeah, that seems a little wild, right?
That's how you need to give context. I'll pull that, because I don't know what you're about to pull out on me, bro. Come on, man. We need to talk, and I don't want to talk no more, depending on where you're going. But what do you mean, bro?
The only person that I've seen do this to this person, is and this is a person that this is rarely done to, if ever done to.
Show the photo.
And you're
digging. This sounds weird.
And you did it to this person all in front of cameras. And I was
that sounds even weirder and stranger. What do you mean?
You ready for the photo?
Yeah.
This.
Oh, Charlie boy. Yeah. What? You went round the houses to say that. So yeah, me fist pumping King Charles.
Yes.
How about that? Look at Anna's face.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the
Was-
girl, Anna. Yeah.
Anna was-
She's like, look, he's fist bumping him.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did this come about? What did this moment mean to you?
Oh, I tell you what, like, so I've been passionate about working with like young people for the longest. I'm like, my story, if I can talk to somebody from that looks like me, sounds like me, like has had the same sort of upbringing, then maybe they might pick a different route. And that's what it was. I was working as a support worker since the youngest, like 18, and then the King's Trust, like charity, which was the Prince's Trust at the time, said like, oh, do you want to do some work with young people and things like that? And I became an ambassador for them. And then all of a sudden, me and Anna were actually hosting one of the events one year, right? It was at the Drury Lane Theatre. And all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, the King's coming. Like you're going to meet him. Like this is it. So you guys stand here and we'll be back in a minute to come and brief you. All of a sudden, bearing in mind, I'm from South London Council Estate, right? The King has walked in with Andrew Lloyd Webber, yeah? Don't me name drop him because I didn't know who Andrew Lloyd Webber was. But either way, he's walked in and then we haven't been given the brief. So then Anna's like doing like little curtsy and things like that. And I've forgotten where I am for a second. And I've gone, I've gone to go like that, right? And it's almost been like this weird you know when when you try to fist bump someone and then they like go to like shake your hand and it's like a cabbage situation that's going on.
Yes.
That happened. And then before you know it, we've kind of done like that little reaction. I was like, oh, fine, like, we'll just fist bump. And then before you knew it, every year they do this thing where all the ambassadors get together and you get to meet the King at Buckingham Palace and he comes around and says, thank you for your work and things like that. And then all of a sudden, like 3 years on the trot now, we've got a handshake. It's like up, down, boom, boom, like we're there.
You got a private handshake with the King.
Yeah.
Because-
He was saying that he was going to come down to Brixton Market and try some jerk chicken.
Really?
He was saying that. I'm still holding him to it. I said, I was the coronation key. She was like, oh no. And I was like, well, what about planting and jerk chicken? He was like, yeah, great.
Look at that. Look at that.
Imagine, that's a cool photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a really cool photo.
That's a crow. So there is a official protocol, and there is one. Or not.
I think so, but I don't know. I'm the worst person to ask for. If you got to meet him, just keep it formal.
Just
maybe,
keep it formal. Just
yeah.
don't cabbage it though. Don't.
When I cabbaged it, oh my gosh.
Don't. Okay.
It was strange interaction. But who would have thought, like, from where I started, I would ever end up in Buckingham Palace?
Look at that.
That's mad.
Look at that. And you're just at the beginning
I am.
as well. Like this is just first quarter, like first chapter, second chapter maybe of a 24 chapter book.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much more that you have to do. So when you reflect back though, throughout everything that you have gone through in life, can you pinpoint a proudest moment?
Proudest moment, one of them was when I first got my show on Kiss. Because that was the first time I was like, Mum, I'm going to be able to support you. I've always supported my mum. I was like, you've given me everything. I'm going to be able to support you now. We don't have to be in debt no more. And I worked every hour under the sun to make sure that I can be supportive. And that was a real big moment. But also, I guess, one of my proudest moments was actually last night before we was here, watching the race across the world final. Like, and I'm there and I consider where my life is now. All the things that I've got in my life, I once would always just think, oh, that's endgame. The minute that I found the love of my life, the minute that I've moved out, the minute that I've had like a consistent job that I'm happy with and things like that, and I've bulked up because I was like really like short and fat, and then I was tall and skinny. I was like, I want to bulk up at the gym. I want to have a good friendship circle. Like all of these things were like endgame for me. And now I'm here. I'm like, bro, I'm actually really just only at the start.
Yes.
And that's the beautiful thing about it. You got to keep on going. Like if you've got a dream, then you've got to go further than that. Like think about something way further than that, because I promise you now, it will just feel like a checkpoint.
There you go. That's beautiful.
You're going to marry us, right?
Oh my goodness.
You've been ordained.
You know,
No, you don't even need to be ordained. You can just come and say a blessing.
Can I say this? I'm glad that we brought this up. So in the U.S., I have married couples before,
No way.
and I don't know what the rules are here.
Right.
But I would definitely do that. And you've talked about children, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, like, that's just something that we would want to then eventually go on and do. We're not, like, rushing or any way, shape, or form, but obviously, where we've then got engaged, we're like, well, that is naturally, you get married, and then, you know, you're going to build a family at some point. But it's all got to, like, just fit in with work and careers and goals and things, you know?
Can I ask you a question? This isn't to try to prolong you being here.
Yeah, go on.
But I have to ask this. This is interesting. So you and Molly, age-wise, you both are.
So I'm 29, she's 25.
She's 20, right. So not 30. Okay, not yet 30.
Yeah.
You are part of. I would say you are. Well, you're Gen Z. Gen Z, late
millennial.
or
She's
early,
Gen Z, yeah.
late millennial.
Yeah.
All right. You just said you were like, hey, Paul. The process is you get engaged.
Yeah.
You get married, you have kids.
Yeah, that's our process. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's our process.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that's not the atypical process right now in that generation. It's interesting that you have that philosophy. Why is that?
I think it's when you've been through the trenches with this stuff. When it comes to relationships, some people lose hope when it comes to relationships, right? And I think So in my head, I've gone, well, if I've got that person, then of course I'm gonna do the big package. Of course I'm gonna go and get engaged and get married and have kids because I just want to express my love and also continue pushing that to its limit. Like you wouldn't want to go into a restaurant and just have a starter when you know that the main and the dessert are great, right?
Yes.
Now I just wouldn't want to do that. I'm like, well, of course it's endgame and you can do all those things, but again, other people, they put themselves under so much pressure and they're like, oh, we're going to need to have kids, or oh, we're going to need to sit down and do this stuff. No, you don't have to just because somebody's doing it.
Yes.
But I want to, 100%.
All right. Love it. Okay. So final question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You think back to all of the conversations that you've had in life. Which one stands out to you as the most memorable?
Mm-hmm.
Who was it with?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you learn?
I was so excited for this question. So excited for this moment. So there's a few that popped to mind, but the one that comes to my mind, you may know him. It's a guy that I met at an event when I was like starting out in CBBC. I think I bumped into him at something, and his name's Ruben Christian.
Oh, yes, I know Ruben.
Ruben.
Yeah, I definitely know Ruben.
Ruben used to do, I think he might still do it. I haven't caught up with him in years, but he did it's called like Dream Rehab.
Dream Rehab, absolutely.
Special.
Yes.
Great work he does. And it's working on people with like building their confidence and basically bringing their dreams back to life. He's an amazing guy, so funny. And he said something to me once, and it was like, it doesn't matter about how you get there, it's about how willing you are. And he gave me an example, and he said, like, say for example, your usual route to work is like you jump on the tube and you come in on the Northern Line. Oh, tube's closed today. All right, fine, I'm going to get the bus. Oh, the bus is broken down. And it's like, okay, right, cool. Well, then you're going to take your bike. Oh, your bike's got a flat tire. It's like, okay, I'll walk. And it's like, no matter which way you go about things, there's always a way to do it. It's just about how willing you are.
Mm.
And so when I think about that and I think about everything that's happened throughout my life, and I'm like, okay, cool. I really want to have a good, strong week with like my mental health. Oh no, I've just been triggered. Somebody got involved in a knife fight. It's like, okay, cool. Take a step back, take your space and bounce back from it. And like, it's just every single point throughout my life, there's always been something else or another way I've found it to just keep on going. I didn't grow up with money. I didn't have solutions. I didn't have access to like, oh, I'm just going to go away on a holiday and feel freedom over there. I didn't run away. I couldn't run away. It was like directly in my face.
Yes.
So by having those experiences and navigating it in that way, it's given me this sort of like foundation where I'm like, all right, if it goes wrong, we'll find a way. It'll be okay. We'll keep going, keep stepping.
Keep stepping. I love that. Yeah. I love that. And I love that you got that from Ruben.
Yeah.
He has been a very good friend.
Mm-hmm.
To me and to my family, and so insightful and wise.
Incredible guy.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna share that with my boys.
That's it.
This is how willing you are to take out this trash.
Yeah,
tonight.
There's another way to do it.
Yeah, there is another way. Go out this door. Tyler, I want to say thank you.
Paul, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you.
This has been really good. I've been inspired. listening to your journey. I am inspired by the tenaciousness of the hustle, and I think what you have done is you've inspired so many people beyond the people that you know. I think
Yeah.
you touch people that don't realize that you are unaware of. And I think it's important for you to carry that with you, that you are changing lives simply by your presence.
That's really special.
Yeah. So thank you, man. Thank you. I wish you and Molly all the best.
Oh.
If you need me for anything,
You're gonna regret saying that? You're gonna regret saying that, boy.
I know I'm on.
Yeah.
I like how you're going about the relationship. I like it all. I like it
I
all.
appreciate you, man.
Continue.
And thank you, honestly, for providing such a space to open up. Like I said, there's nowhere else on this earth like where I'm currently standing where I'd be confident or safe enough to open up about things in my life. But this is it.
Tyler West, great guy. His life is a great example of how crime ripples through the community and how that moment that happened 13 years ago, how that still stays with him today, still impacts who he is and how he shows up. He and his brother have essentially created a safe word to talk about their feelings and their emotions. I guess the more complicated the coffee, the more complicated the emotion. The more basic, if it's just coffee, it's not. That is something that we can all learn from. We can all use. It's interesting. When I see Tyler West in almost every photo, Tyler West, the smile. And it's true. It's genuine. It's pure. And it's not to say, and he said it's not to say that he's not dealing with a lot, because he is. But he still smiles. Like if we can all take a scoop of that, it's to our benefit.